Well, hey howdy everyone, Locity here, back in action for more Supreme Court Attraction. And that's right, where it's the 22nd of October, the British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. We got a lot of gears loose around here. Been about 6 now since I was last here. Some things never change, like the sense of foreboding I always seem to feel in this place. Oh, she's so cute. Doesn't seem to be bothering Iris at all, though. She's happily reading over there. Oh, I love this place. I always find so many interesting books here. Of course. I was forgetting that you've been here before. And we came here 6 months ago. When Susato-san was given the news that she returned to Japan. I understand you wish to speak with me. Oh, Lord Strongheart! I trust you've been keeping well? Let's see. Since you arrived and requested an audience, it's been 4 hours, 32 minutes, and 26 seconds. I kept you waiting a while. My apologies. Oh, no, not at all. I like nothing more than standing around, staring into space. Good to know. Good to know that doesn't appear to bother him at all. Male Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of London. He's the man who allowed me to start practicing as a defense lawyer when I arrived in Britain as a student. You need only savor the air for a moment in this grand office to understand his preeminent status. As you will be aware, the Great Exposition of London is now underway at last. We're extremely busy as a result. Police of the grounds, guarding the new technologies, dealing with time. And furthermore, as of next month, we shall open the International Forensic Science Symposium. Oh, I've not heard about that. Investigating authorities from 40 countries around the globe will be taking part, starting from your own homeland. Forensic science is the future. The world must embrace it. As we're hosting nation, I have much to do, and it is my highest priority. If others must wait for my attention as a result, so be it. Well, it's nice to know where I stand. So, you wish to console with me? Of course, I can very well imagine what this is about. Thank you for agreeing to this meeting, my lord. Be allowed to start working as a defense lawyer again in a court. That's what brought me here today. But actually, there's something else playing on my mind as it happens. Bruno, just take a deep breath and come out with it. What if I present to you this? Oh. Yeah, I don't need to look at that. Present. By the way, Lord Strongheart, about this. The symbol of the defense lawyer in the Japanese judiciary. Oh, I didn't expect you'd know that. We never accept foreign students before first researching the legal systems of their home countries. But such trinkets are merely for show. The only true measure of your worth is your performance in court. Yes, right. Well, he knows. His eyes are piercing. It's kind of insane. I don't want to move. I want to look around. Lord Chief Justice's desk. You look at that. There's no mistaking Lord Strongheart's authority, is there? The light from the window behind is far too bright. be very bad on for the eyes. I I hadn't thought of that. There are no curtains, that's for sure. What's more, important, having a desk with an air of authority, or having eyes that work. I can't say I'd ever consider it. After all, my little office barely has any light to speak of. I haven't really seen my desk in a while. Oof. The clocks of the giant clock are keeping time as usual with their steady, rhythmical motion. It's really quite disturbing how little sound they make considering their massive size. Someone very brilliant must have designed it, and whoever maintains it must be very talented too. But I'm not entirely convinced it's even a clock. What? What about the huge clock face that forms the window over there? Some people just make machines that move for the fun of it, because they enjoy watching them. Rather like how Hurley makes his rambling deductions just for the fun of it. Even if the outcome isn't quite right. Never mind all the trouble it gets others into along the way. True that. Oh, I just had a great idea! What is it? We could hide inside these suits of armor and spy on the Phobe Watchmaster to find out what he's like. I don't have much interest in what Lord Strongheart is really like, though. Oh, please, that would be so fun. You'd be inside the left one and I'll go in the right. Really want to have to go in the suit of armor, don't you? Now you're making fun of me because I'm a child, aren't you? I wasn't making fun of you at all. I like to have a go too. Poor Runo, misunderstood by all his compatriots. Can't read all these books, even if you're reincarnated 3 times over. As a bookworm. Oh, I know. So much reading material. I'm very envious. Real? I've really been running out of things to read recently. That's because you read so fast. Perhaps little by little I could swap some of the books here with some mine from home. I don't see why not. But no one would notice, or at least I wouldn't, even if it was reincarnated 3 times as a librarian. Yeah, there's too many books here, I'll be real. It's so weird that, like, it's just that big that it has to be, like, moved twice over just to see the whole dang thing. I feel like that's gonna be playing into factors later. Either way, come butters. Yeah, permission to work. I actually came here today to ask for your permission. Go on. 6 months ago, my right to work in court as a lawyer was revoked, and I was told to spend my time studying. Obviously, I'm very sorry for what happened, but the thing is, it made me understand what it really means to defend somebody under the rules of a foreign justice system. And I just really want to have another go. Please, permit me to enter the court room again today? Mr. Naruto. Yes. Here it comes. I'm sure you haven't forgotten your position here, have you? At best, you're a substitute for your compatriot. This was never your intended role. Well, that's true. The Japanese government actually sent my best friend on a study tour, not me. It should have been. He was so determined to bring change to our own justice system at home. That was his calling. That tragic accident hadn't happened, I wouldn't be here in this office now. Mr. Usagi was my best friend, you see. That's why I can't leave it unfinished. I had to fulfill his calling for him. His calling, you say? Has it never occurred to you that perhaps you know nothing of his true calling. Sorry? The mission with which the young law student was charged. What do you suppose it really was? What do you mean? Mission? Making sense. Never mind. I've read all the reports you submitted over the past 6 months. It's clear to me that you regret your actions. Have been studiously obeying your revision introductions. Do you mean? As of this moment, I reinstate your license to practice law here in Great Britain. Thank you! Thank you so much! That's wonderful news, Runo! In fact, I believe I have the perfect case to mark your comeback. A curious affair. You'll consider it, I hope. Of course! Please tell me more. A curious affair? You described it as a curious affair? Yes, that's right. I believe it was reported in the press. Are you aware that there was a serious accident at the Great Exposition yesterday? Oh, no. Yes, I read about it. A professor from Germany tried to carry out a crazy experiment. Let me see. How was it described? Super high voltage, instantaneous kinesis, I think. Instantaneous kinesis? As in, moving these with a click of the fingers? That's right. It's just what my herbal blends need. A dash of devil may care. Whatever the serious accident was, exactly, it's clearly captured Iris's imagination. It's an unfortunate business. Law's explosion engulfed the public experimentation stage, and a man lost his life. A certain Mr. Ode Alsman, an investor and a well-known figure in society. A large explosion? A man died? The man responsible for the experiment was Professor Albert Harebrine. He was detained immediately after the incident, and is due to appear in court tomorrow on the charge of murder. What? Murder? You intend to take his defense. You should hurry to meet with him at the prison. There's very little time left for you to carry out any kind of investigation. The Great Exposition. The scientific experiment gone wrong. And murder? I fell out of my depth before I've even started. Still. We should go to the prison straight away then. And try to meet with this German professor. Don't you think? Definitely. Oh, yes. One more thing about the case. There's a connection with your mutual acquaintance, the Reaper. Oh! With Lord Van Zieks? How? So forensic science? All sorts of conferences have been taking place around the world in coincidence with the Great Exposition. And next month, the largest and most important of them all will take place at last. The International Forensic Science Symposium. It does seem as though criminal investigation needs to embrace scientific methods, doesn't it? Exactly! London, the global epicenter of culture, science, and wealth, now has a population exceeding 6 million. Sadly, crime in the capital is growing at a similarly startling rate. So it's imperative that we use the latest scientific methods to investigate and resolve cases as efficiently as possible. Which is what's known as forensic science, isn't it? Exactly! The future of policing! Ah! Regrettably, however, Britain is currently dragging its feet when it comes to the adoption of forensic methods. Oh dear, that's alarming. Exactly! It's extremely alarming. If I were Her Majesty's Attorney General, you could be sure. The numbers of crimes committed and resolved in London would be very different to the current figures. And I could cite 12 solid arguments and 233 individual reasons to support my claim. Sorry? By way of apology for keeping you waiting earlier, I shall detail everyone now. What? Oh, how fascinating! It all began 15 years ago. I was... Anyway, all the blood was all over the floor, and frankly, you couldn't see anything else. And that more or less sums up my feelings on the matter. In the simplest terms, of course. Essentially to formally establish a forensic investigation division within Scotland Yard. That is my mission. Oh, right. Yes, that's wonderful. Exactly. Wonderful is precisely what it will be. Iris isn't paying attention at all. Got her nose in another book now. Oh, is it over? Did you learn anything useful? I actually drifted off for the most part. He's surprisingly arrogant about forensic science. Yes he is. Can we present him with this? Oh, that reminds me. Have you seen this? The reports of the overwhelming success of the Great Exposition, of course. No, not that. Story on the back page. What story? The Reaper attacked. Oh, that. Enjoyed some victories in court against my #1 prosecutor, have you not? Or Mr. Reaper? What happened to him? He wasn't killed, was he? There's no need for concern. Lord Van Zieks would not be so easily dispatched, I assure you. Can you tell us what happened? I'd really love to know. Very well. If it interests you. It does, strangely. His condition. Fortunately, Lord Van Zieks emerged from the attack unscathed. Street ruffians are no match for that man. A very capable fighter. But that's incredible! You're armed with guns! Where was he attacked, though? Do we know? It's related to events that occurred a month ago. The leader of one of the capital's criminal organizations was indicated and prosecuted by Van Zieks. But the man was acquitted. I have no doubts large sums of money were involved behind the scenes. Large sums of money? A deplorable situation. Members of the jury were bribed, it seems. However, despite him winning his freedom, the man in question met a dramatic end yesterday. But you're not suggesting that was the work of the Reaper? Surely! The victim's henchmen certainly seemed to think so. He was a man by the name of Asman. Mr. Odie Asman. Did you say Osman? That's the man who died in the big explosion at the Great Exposition. Yes. Known publicly as an investor, but in reality, head of a significant criminal organization. Believable. Wonder. Can I ask you something, Lord Strongheart? Try me. Why did you use Lord Van Zieks as a prosecutor? All the criminals who managed to get off in court then meet with mysterious ends outside the courtroom. And fearful of that fate, they seek to strike Lord Van Zieks first. I know there's no evidence that he actually is the Reaper in that sense, but still, something's clearly going on here. I have Van Zieks work for the prosecution service for 2 reasons. Firstly, the man is the best prosecutor in the capital, bar none. And secondly, any deaths of criminals that have occurred outside the courtroom following his trials have nothing to do with him. That doesn't make sense. How can you explain the way so many have died, but not by someone's hand? Van Zieks may have earned himself the moniker the Reaper. He is no killer. So you will continue to prosecute on behalf of the Crown. Unless he wishes otherwise, of course. Oh? Well, I must be leaving for my next engagement. Already 11 hours and 17 minutes late. My colleagues may be starting to fidget. 11 hours late? That's quite something. The meeting had already started when I arrived back here for this engagement with you. So lateness was inevitable. I'm stops for no man. Sure, it's taught for me during those 12 solid arguments and 223 reasons. Oh yes, where would I find Lord Van Zieks now? I'd assume he's in his office. Right, I'll go ask him about the attack in person. I want to get this straight from the horse's mouth. Away with you now. I'm leaving Professor Hairbrain's defense entirely in your hands. Of course, yes. Thank you very much, my lord. Well, time to move on in. The prosecutor's office, and then we have the prison. I want to go to the prosecutor's office first. Pretty. The 22nd of October, prosecutor's office. Oh, so this is the Reaper's office. Yes, it appears so. It sends a cold shiver down our spine, doesn't it? What an amazingly deathly atmosphere. Oh, is that? I heard a figure was so still. I didn't notice his or her presence. I wonder who it is. What are you doing here? Ah! He's as unwelcoming as I thought he'd be. Actually, maybe even more so. Oh, I'm glad to see you're well. I am. So, who's the person over by the wall being punished for something or other? No punishment is taking place here. Oh! That's my apprentice. He's sitting there on his own free will. I didn't know you had an apprentice. Must be the same person who was pictured in the newspaper. He is very able in combat. A requisite skill for anyone under my tutelage. Are you referring to the attack on the Reaper that was reported in the papers? The Reaper. I'd be interested to know the Reaper's true identity myself. Assuming, that is, such a fabled fiend generally inhabits our great courtroom. Okay. Let's look around then. What you got, bud? Look at that fine collection of hollow chalices and bottles neatly lined up there. My hollowed bottles are filled with the essence of the finest grapes from the finest vineyards I visit. And I personally oversee these chalices being made by the finest crystal craftsmen in the world. And yet you throw them around in court like they were worthless. Yes, because this imbecile is so unimaginably and repeatedly wide of the mark sometimes. Oh. Before you open your mouth next time, consider the poor artisans whose work you defile. What do you mean, bud? You're the one doing it! So, it's my fault? It's only me. How could I even have thought otherwise? Right? Lord Van Zeek's desk. Look, it's so stylish. And that's a marble chess set beside it. Chest? That's the Western version of our Japanese shogi game, isn't it? You know, I'm actually quite good at shogi problems. Oh, really? You'd probably like chess problems in that case. I'd love to challenge Lord Van Zeek sometime to a bout of shogi problems. You only really want to challenge yourself. You can always do that on your own at home. Oof. I gotta be real, I'm not actually a fan of shogi. Shogi is a little bit too complicated for my blood. It literally is just like, let's make chess more complicated. I cannot express enough just how, like, bleh it feels. Also, for those out there that do not know, chess recently got an update. I'm not even joking, it got an update. I will put it on screen if I can find it properly, but oh my god. I think it has something to do with bishops or some such, like you can switch bishops or something like that. But yeah, it was updated. A 200 or so year game updated because they're like, it's getting kind of boring, right? Oh my goodness. Games are wild sometimes. What do you mean nothing in particular note? There is something in particular note. Oh look! It's a scale model of the Great Exposition show ground. Oh, it's so cool looking. That's amazing. Wonder why it's here. Perhaps we made it to take as mine off the sadness of being too busy to attend in person. Perhaps he's too embarrassed to queue up for a ticket. Surely it's obvious that I'm using it as an investigative aid. Ah! You Nipponese have no business painting others as overly reserved. I really didn't think he overheard that. I love how he's just kind of like a big brother that gets annoyed at everything you do, but he's still letting you do it, you know? Like, it's one of those things where you know you can mess with him just enough. You're just like, ooh. That portrait really dominates the room, doesn't it? It's a very majestic outfit and pose, but sadly, whoever painted it didn't do a very good job of capturing Lord Van Zeek's facial features. Yes, you're right. I mean, it's not far off, but the artist has exaggerated his handsomeness, I think. Ah, that reminds me. I heard Emperor Napoleon of France ordered artists to make him look more attractive when they painted him. How vain. That's really not an attractive quality in a person, is it? That portrait does not depict me. Surely that's immediately obvious. Oh, then, who is it? He did not say. He did not want to say. His ass was hit tight with that those bats? What are bats doing in here? Ah! They were bats! Yes, the Reaper's familiars, I expect. What about the mute man in the dark cloak? I thought he was the familiar. It's not the flying kind. You must be a dear friend of Mr. Reaper, then. I think the familiar idea is more likely. Scary, though, either way. What are you doing, bud? It looks like a punishment to me. Never seen someone sitting like that before. He hasn't moved a muscle since we arrived. You think perhaps he's dead? If he was dead, Runo, he wouldn't be sitting up, would he? Well, anyway, dead or alive, not overly approachable, is he? I don't think he's going to talk to us. He's not dead! I mean, or alive, Iris. Like, come on. Did you not, like, see the series? Look at all those ancient caskets lining the wall there. Caskets in the Reaper's chambers. Or are they caskets? You don't think all those people who escaped conviction in court are lying inside them dead, do you? What ridiculous notions are you going through your head, man? This is my collection of fine vintages. Oh, yes, of course. Thank you for clearing that up. Ren and I were just musing to ourselves. Don't mind us, Mr. Reaper. I wouldn't. You hadn't invite yourselves in my office to talk nonsense within my earshot. But they are. They are. We are. The funniest thing to me. It's so funny. Let's show him this. Present. I know you've seen this around my arm before, but what is it exactly? It's the mark of a defense lawyer. In Japan, at least. What's your reason for showing it to a prosecutor? Oh, well, I don't know, really. I can understand, at least. There's merit in reminding yourself of whom helped you become what you are today. Oh. But that's a personal matter. Something you may want to keep close at all times. Not something to flaunt. No, I suppose not. Thank you for understanding, though. Oh, that was really cute. I love that. Lord Van Zieks, about the article in this paper. Oh yes, it seems there was a reporter nearby when that little skirmish took place. I had no idea I'd been photographed. It was careless of me. It looks as though it was taken after the people who attacked you had run away, though. Rest assured, the police had already apprehended every last one of them. But there's someone else fighting alongside you, it seems. And I think it's the same man who's sitting over there as we speak, isn't it? As I mentioned already, he's my apprentice. Perhaps you could tell us a little more about him? Your apprentice. Alright, cool. Next time, everybody, we're going to find out more about Van Zieks, because he seems just like we get under his skin just like all tightly nightly. It's so funny. Till then, though, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you can. Until next time, sayonara. Bye-bye.